Hey everybody, welcome back to TechOdyssey. So today I want to talk about the Google Pixel 6 and how I think it's unappreciated or underappreciated. And I say that because they did something really special and impressive when they launched this phone. See, there are a lot of phones that have come out over the last year, and they're very expensive. You look at the iPhone 13, came in at $799. You look at the S21 that came out at the beginning of the year, $799. As far as $1199 for the Ultra model. You look at the foldable phones, we're looking at $999 for the Flip 3, $1799 for the Fold 3. The list goes on. Over $900, $1,000 for the OnePlus 9 Pro. And then you have a completely reinvented, reimagined, new customized chipset, the Tensor, inside of the Pixel 6. New cameras, OLED panel, full 1080p plus display, 90 hertz refresh rate. Basically, they threw everything they possibly could in here. $599. Even looking, and I thought about this the other day because, of course, we've got the announcement for the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE. $699. Completely less impressive. It has less stuff, less specs, less features, less RAM, so many different things. And they charge $100 more than this, which came out several months ago and isn't basically a copy of a previous phone that came out a year ago. So this phone, the Pixel 6, and I know I've made videos, we've talked about this, it does have some hangups in the software department, which will hopefully be fixed in the next few weeks. Once this thing finally gets to where it should be software-wise, there's not a whole lot of phones out there that I'm going to recommend in the Android department for most people looking for a new phone. Google does a lot of things really well. Unfortunately, they haven't done software updates and fixing things really well lately, which, that has its own frustrations with it. But from a hardware perspective, from an experience perspective, look around at the phone landscape and see what you're comparing it to, and then they undercut all that by several $100. Not $50, not $100, $200, basically the cheapest of last year's lower end flagship phones. I say lower end because there's always the Max, the Ultras, the Pros, all that good stuff. We do, of course, have the Pixel 6 Pro, which is $899, and even that squeaked in under most normal prices for the regular flagship phone for many different brands. So looking at the OnePlus 9, looking at the iPhone 13 Pro, looking at the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus or the Ultra, $899 for the Ultra, and then $599 for this. And what was even more special is you look around, over the holidays, they even found ways to discount it with carrier activations to $549 or even $499 in some limited instances. And it's only going to get cheaper as the year goes on. We'll have sales. There's going to be other competitive things. This phone just got started at the end of October. And by and large, most people consider it a fantastic phone. Even, I believe, Mr. Who's the Boss might have called it his phone of the year. It was one of the phones of the year anyway. There were a lot of different big reviewers that really took the time to say, look, this phone is special. And I think that most people have used it, find that it is pretty special. It can be especially frustrating if you got one of the ones that had the connectivity issues, the modem issues, the signal problems, especially that were compounded if you happened to get the December update and it didn't work out well for you. That stuff is coming. It's going to get fixed. And that's like the big thing out there that's looming. As soon as this thing gets all that stuff, the different kinks ironed out, and it's a 100% smooth experience for everybody, and for about probably 85 to 90% of people, it is that right now. I'm not really experiencing a whole lot of issues with mine, but there are people out there that have significant issues with theirs, and it's been a frustrating experience for them, and Google has been very slow to get that fixed. So I don't want to ignore that in this video, but what I do want to acknowledge in this video is that Google did a bang-up job putting this phone together. And as soon as they get those software fixes, make a couple tweaks to the camera, hammer down some of the focus and the algorithmic-based computer stuff for the photography, there's not going to be a lot that is going to beat it. And one thing I believe we're looking at here in the near future, as the S22 comes out, you can take this one to the bank. I can almost guarantee that the S22 is going to be more expensive than the S21. And I think that's part of why we got this S21 FE so late in the phone cycle, right at the beginning of the year, before the S22 comes out, because they're selling it for $699, which is, I think, way too expensive for that phone, especially considering it's not really much of an improvement. It's more of a copycat with a couple things taken out, and then kind of a disambiguation of the S20 FE we had last year, which so many people celebrated. And of course, they took the SD card out of it, right? So I think that this phone, where it sits right now, when it came out, very impressive, very, very nice phone. And I like it. I mean, this is basically probably my phone of the year for this last year. And I'm not one I really like to hammer down on that stuff because, look, I could say this is my favorite phone. The favorite phone, the best phone, is a moving target for so many people in so many ways. You can have most improved. You can have the best phone. You can have the best camera phone. You can have... There are so many different things that people value to where I don't really like to go, okay, this is the best phone of the year. What I can say is, arguably, at the $599 price point, it undercuts all of the competition, and it is also arguably just about the best phone that you can get on the lower bracket of flagship phones, the non-Pro model, which of course you can get anyway with the 6 Pro for $899. So I think this phone is going to be appreciated more as we move forward. We're fixing to turn the corner. We're right here. We've got the OnePlus 10 Pro right around the corner. We know those are going to be expensive. We look at the S22. Those are going to be expensive. You're going to look at that and then you're going to walk into the carrier store and go, wow, how is the Pixel 6 $599 when all these other phones are $799, $899, $999, $1,099? And I'm going to tell you right now, like the Note 22 Ultra is probably going to be about $1,400, maybe more. So considering what Google's done and moving forward, that's the thing, moving forward. Google phones always get better throughout the year. They get better as the years go by because Google's always adding more features. They're doing updates. They're always the first ones to get the operating system, which this time has not been the gold medal we thought it was going to be. But at $599, it's only going to get cheaper as we go forward. And then imagine a year from now, whenever the Pixel 7 comes out, you'll be able to get one of these probably $499. I mean, it's just ridiculous to think moving forward, because a lot of people don't pick up phones on day one. A lot of people don't pick them up on day 30, day 60, day 90. A lot of people get phones typically when they've already been out for at least a year, because that's when the carriers offer really, really good deals because they want to move them off of the shelves. You get people who have got a phone that their contract, their payment agreement, installment agreement is ending, and then they want to migrate over to something else. The Pixel 6 is going to be a fantastic phone for years to come, supported for many years by Google, and it's going to get better and more mature as time goes on, which is not something you may be able to say about some other phones. And to this day, I still look at it and go, wow, this whole $599 price point thing really is something special, and it gives you almost the exact same experience as the Pixel 6 Pro. The only thing that I wish it had was all 3 cameras. This one has the wide angle and the primary. The Pro has both of those and the telephoto. But with the digital zoom for most things, it's going to be perfectly fine. This phone right here is a beautiful, well-made device that I think is going to make a lot of people happy. I've covered it probably more extensively than just about any phone over the last year. I've covered a lot. The Z Flip 3 was a big one for me. I love that. I love the Z Flip 3, the Fold 3, the Duo. I've covered so many phones, but none of them, and if you watch my channel for any long period of time, you know that I really place an emphasis on value and performance and necessity. Things that I think are going to bring the best bang for the buck with the best performance for most people, and of course battery life. And I think this phone nailed a lot of different things that people wouldn't expect to have been locked down so well, especially coming on the heels of the Pixel 5. The Pixel 5 last year was a very good phone, but it wasn't impressive. It was very much a step back. It was a kind of a take a year off from the whole flagship thing, put a Snapdragon 765 in it, kind of refined a couple of things. Smaller screen, really didn't compete with any of the flagship phones, but really a lot of people liked it. I liked it myself. Then they swung for the fences. They turned it around this year with the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro. And then they brought all the amazingness that is the Pixel 6 at the $599 price point. And if you don't appreciate that right now, and if you didn't appreciate that 2 months ago when it came out, you're really going to appreciate it once we get to the OnePlus 10 Pro, once we get to the S22, once we work our way into the Android lineup that's going to lead off the first 3 or 4 months of 2022. And then you see this guy for $599. You're going to wonder, one, how Google did it, and two, why other phones are so expensive. This is a disruptive phone, and I think it's going to make a lot of carriers and manufacturers regret the more expensive price points of their phones because it's just not necessary. Why, when we can get this for $599, are we paying $899, $999, $1,099 for phones that are 95, 98% equal in almost every department? it's just not worth it. It's one of those things where finally Google has realized that you don't need to make $1,000 phone, and they've made a $599 phone that's super good. Anyway, that's all I've got in this video. Sound off in the comments. What do you think? Do you think that it's really important? Do you think that it is really something substantial that Google has done here with the Pixel 6 and how they pulled this off with the $599 price point? It's something that gets me excited about phones because for so long I've lamented this whole shooting up into the $1,000 stratosphere because it's completely unnecessary. Yes, a couple of years ago, that's where the groundbreaking technology is. But when you look at the completely high-level performance tier of technology you can get in a $599 phone now, why are we paying $1,000 for phones? Just think about it. Anyway, sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, please head there. I'll answer those as I can. I like to respond to you guys. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want an update to when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.